Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this edition of the Primetime Newscast, the English language on Canal International. I'm called Maureen. We'll begin with our top stories. Has finally been broken after almost more than 4 months of disagreements amongst members of Cameroon Businessmen Association GICAM meeting in an extraordinary General Assembly on July 11. The main item on the agenda was MICAM. And today, July 11, is observed as African Day for the fight against corruption, and the fight in Cameroon has been a daily song, especially with the National Anti-Corruption Committee. But what do Cameroonians think about the government's rights to stop corruption? Those are major stories. Details right ahead. Among members of the Cameroon Businessmen Association GICAM meeting in an extraordinary General Assembly on July 11. The main item on the agenda was a vote for or against a merger between the two existing entities, GICAM and MICAM. Let's hook up with our reporter, Henry Atembe, who is standing by at GICAM.
Good evening. Is the Association of Business People in Cameroon. In fact, this cartel has been going through different problems for some time now. In 2008, there was a faction considered a renegade faction that split from GICAM and created ICAM. Now, this time around, they have decided to come back in a merger. But the bone of contention has been raging on for 3 months, and today in this ordinary General Assembly, they have this. That was the major item on the agenda. And so 74% of the members of the GICAM entities. But then the big story is that this merger is going to make GICAM very much stronger as an organization. Henry Atembe at GICAM.
Thank you so much, Henry Atembe, for those updates. And today, July 11, is observed as the African Day for the fight against corruption, and the fight in Cameroon has been a daily song, especially with the National Anti-Corruption Committee. But what do Cameroonians think about government's strides to stop corruption? Many say the situation is rather getting worse. Our reporter, Hyacinth, has been talking with some Cameroonians on the streets of Yaoundé. His story.
Talking to Cameroonians on the streets of the nation's political capital, Yaoundé, many lament that the worm of corruption is digging deep into the country. And even at a time, the fight against the phenomenon is being sung every day. The realities do not reflect the advocacy.
I think corruption is rather on the rise in Cameroon. We see the practices every day, be it in public, competitive as well.
As Cameroon joins other African countries to commemorate the day for the fight against corruption, this July 11th, victims can only recall the dishonest act which played down on them in the past.
It was because we didn't have the money to bribe people. So I can tell you that I know corruption happens in Cameroon all over the place.
The bad practice, they reiterate, has placed the nation on the path of economic stagnation, with all sectors affected, imposing difficult conditions on the population.
The country is getting bad. We don't understand anything in this country. We need to review the situation. The corruption phenomenon is really dangerous.
Despite the rampant nature of the vice, Cameroonians have also tried giving a good name to the fraudulent act, calling it connection instead of corruption. But it is worth recalling that the actions and consequences remain destructive to the nation.
Meantime, journalists also recount tales of how they are being threatened while reporting acts of corruption and embezzlement. In their stories, we spoke to two seasoned journalists, Gustav Azebaze and Theodore Chowdhury. Let's watch this story. In Cameroon, some journalists and whistleblowers are known to be fighting hard through their investigative reports to denounce acts of corruption and embezzlement, which they insist is increasingly reaching unbearable levels.
I've not been questioned directly by the government because of having written logically.
Corruption in Cameroon have rather attracted threats, oppression, persecution, detention, and killing for others. The case of Martinez Zogo is still fresh in our minds.
Christophe Biokono have been a vibrant case of pressure, judicial harassment for having written or denouncing corruption practices in some administration. But he's not the only journalist that have been the case.
Times I wrote some stories as far as corruption is concerned, and what I can say is that my story had not been seen very well by a minister. At that time, it was the Minister of Transport,
who was supposed to alleviate the social situation, poverty in this country. But that has gone aside because of practices under that if they were the government actors would be in jail today.
Corruption is something which is accepted by those who are in charge of managing the Cameroon.
Corruption is the main problem of this country.
Just to note that Cameroon occupied first position twice as most corrupt nation, though they have dropped down the scale. They now occupy 142 on 180 countries, according to the 2022 Corruption Perception Index reported by Transparency International. Judicial police officers at the Yaoundé Yayab Command and Instruction Center have been drilled on how to handle investigation, prosecution, and court cases before a magistrate. The session organized by the National Gendarmerie. Beatrice Ngamu.
As far as judicial procedures are concerned, collaboration between the magistrates and judicial police officers imperative. This for improved communication, cooperation, and effectiveness of investigations, prosecutions, and court cases.
Inform them together with our hierarchy in order to follow instructions and to execute them.
We work in good collaboration with them because we always face the problem. We don't know what to do and when to do. But now that we had them in our midst today, we have had a lot.
Like partners, their relationship needs to be for the success of legal procedures, avoiding conflicts of interest and confrontations while interacting with the court system.
Talked about the nullity. When the laws are not being followed, the procedure will be nullified. He also talked of the fact that the magistrates and the judicial police officers are all workers in the same team. He also talked of the fact that we have to
significant strides in rebuilding the rule of law and restoring public confidence in the justice sector. The beneficiaries are the 46th batch of Gendarme Judicial Police Yaoundé. After the magistrates will be the turn of lawyers.
Some public edifice in the city of Douala is an eyesore constructed to serve as touristic attraction. They have been transformed into public toilets and garbage deposit points for some city dwellers. Talking to the population, they say those in charge of the structures have to step up measures, as Yenifolo reports with our reporter, Saleh Sharifa.
Meant to beautify the city, instead, they have turned to garbage points and hubs for mentally unstable persons as their shelters. At Rond Point, South Fed Aqua, Public Garden of Bonanjo, and many others. These once attractive edifices have lost their splendor of the good days. It's not worth looking. There is nothing attractive on them. Take a look at the Bonanjo Public Garden. It's totally dead. Accusing fingers are pointing to those in charge of maintenance. I think people need to be sensitized on what they do to these edifices. How can a place like the organization they received? So if the same thing is done with the public buildings, it will be of great help. Elsewhere, critics hold the absence of civility on the part of citizens also to be blamed. Do something like this. Some of these embellishments are important historical artifacts which transcend the importance of the city of Douala.
The road phone mission to Menganga in the Adamawa region of Cameroon has expressed dissatisfaction with the rates of the execution of road projects in that part of the country. They noted that many projects were still stagnating, with contractors giving no convincing answers to the delays. More on the story with our reporter Gladys Ambo Diban.
2023 by the Ministry of Public Works, according to authorities in Menganga in the Adamawa region of Cameroon. While on an inspection mission in the locality, members of the Road Fund Committee realized with dismay that work had all along been timidly carried out. The contractor raised delays in the purchase of fuel and rains as major constraints, claims which members of the Road Fund Committee were not convinced with.
Depuis hier, on n'a pas travaillé. Pourquoi le gasoil est venu un peu tard. Et en plus, il a plu. Donc, on ne pouvait pas venir à 17h, entre autres travail, 16h. Non, mais parce que nous, on comprend que ça, c'est une mobilisation de ce matin suite à notre coup de fil d'hier.
The contract to construct the Ngangi-Ngamjo route was awarded in December 2022, close to 8 months. Only 5 out of the 158 kilometers have been executed. Apart from this route, other projects are experiencing setbacks. From the more than 10 construction sites evaluated from the 5th to the 9th of July 2023, only 4 of them had satisfactory results. Critical points on the national route number 15, Tebaji, Tebe, Likok, have also been properly executed after having experienced delays of about 180%. We have been to the foundries. We are currently standing close to one of them, which is very dangerous because if it collapses, the population will be blocked. Members of the road fund are expected again in December for a re-evaluation of these projects.
Holiday makers in the nation keep themselves busy while others find pleasure in relaxing. Others are back in school to gain more knowledge. But our newsroom took interest in a young boy, 15-year-old, who is interested in pedicure. Hyson Cha paints a portrait of the young man.
Frank concentration of Steve as he places the footnails of his clients. The young boy has found in pedicure a passion and devotes his holidays to getting mastery of the beauty arts. The 15-year-old boy got engaged into the activities for various reasons.
I
never wanted to stay at home doing nothing. That is why I came to learn how to deal with nails. By doing so, I am avoiding unnecessary works and also to gain some revenue to start the school year with.
The young boy in the class of Premier has for over 3 weeks now received step-by-step instructions from his trainer on nail care and how he can show proof of the skill acquired.
To place nails, the first step is to clean the nails of the client. Clean with nail dissolvent and then put the nails with glue. While putting nail polish, you have to start from the roots right up to the edges of the nails.
Steve's will and courage to learn is much appreciated by his boss, who describes his rate of mastery as fast.
After watching what I was doing for a while, he asked me if I could be his trainer. which I accepted. He has been here for just 3 weeks, but he is already putting nails. He really learned it fast.
Clients on their part are already admiring and enjoying his services in placing the artificial nails.
Steve is satisfied and will surely come back here for more.
Even though pedicure is not Steve's dream job, the 15-year-old is sure this skill can make him earn a living in the future.
As part of activities to engage our children during holidays, we take you to Banganthi in the west region of Cameroon, where most have engaged in taking the Mendumba language course to permit them better express themselves in their mother tongue. It is among other activities organized by the local elites of the area. More with our reporter, Gladys Ambodiba.
The Mendumba language course undertaken by these children is aimed at improving on their mother tongue, which is gradually disappearing. The children, aged 5 to 18, come from Bazou and Balingu in the division of the west region of Cameroon, some of whom are spending the summer holidays in the localities. Within the 5-week period, the children will also learn how to prepare their local traditional meals and gain basic computer skills. We have learned how to bake cake. This will permit us to bake, for example, a cake for our parents' birthday or ours, so that we will not spend much to purchase one. While launching these activities at the St. Kizito Catholic School in Balingu on the theme, with computers, the youth of the day are assured and secured, the children were advised to take their lessons seriously in order to protect and promote their cultural heritage and equally use the social media wisely. The project is in its 4th edition.
And that brings us to the end of this edition of the Prime Time Newscast in the English language on Canal International. Thanks so much for watching. We're coming up next is the brief with Lil Piju. As I'm be back same time, this time around tomorrow. Good night.